Okay, good afternoon, men. How are we? What's how you doing? How are you feeling today? Not bad at all, mate. Not bad at all. Pretty good. I've had a right blast at the gym. Did some chest and arms. So I'm a bit shaky. My hands are a bit shaky from gripping the bars and the dumbbells. So I feel nice and positive. I've just done a trade there about 10-15 minutes ago, a couple of points. This evaluation I've got is now up to $2,400. So all good. So we've got a leg down there, a couple of legs up, so maybe we're making another leg down. I don't know. I'd put that there as just areas of support as opposed to the bottoms of the range. So, excuse me, yeah. We had a break there, nice bounce, it went up. So we had a break, it came down once, pushed up, it came down again, and when we got that ILO, I thought that's worth a couple of points, and it worked. But obviously we're having another crack at it. But so there you go, Indy. Good morning. Woohoo! 80%. Yeah, 90%. I was quite surprised actually. Last time, see, before they had that 80% off, they had 3 weeks where they had no decent discounts. So I thought perhaps they're getting a bit tighter, but they've gone straight from an 80 onto a 90. So yeah, so all good. The 10% doesn't sound like it's going to make a difference, but it's half. You're paying half of what you're paying with the 80%. If you think about that quickly, it doesn't make sense, does it? You think, you know, an extra 10% off, it's only going to knock 10% off, but it doesn't. It actually takes it down by half. So, yeah. Okay, what do you do here, folks? It's hard to go long, really, to go short there, really, isn't it? In all fairness. I mean, it's touching there beautifully. You know, whether you call it low or high on that, but obviously there's some support there, which we can clearly see that. So it's not something I can really do, go into that. And failing that, if it finishes down here, you've got this down here. So there's not really a lot you can do there. In all fairness, it's a bit risky. Because we've hit here, and we've hit here 3 times. And it's been, you know, as soon as it hit there, it's been rejected strongly. Same there, big quick push up and there. So I'd be nervous about going short, thinking there's going to be buy orders down here. So there you go. So what's how you doing, Indy? How are you? And Ryan, how you doing? So yeah, another 90% off. My code's down there, as you know. If you use it, happy days. I appreciate it. Have a look. There is actually a second entry short there, but same again. You can't really go into that, can you? So, as I said a couple of days ago, I've got one account which is already passed. That goes live in about 3 days. Something like that, maybe. 2 days. And the other one goes live a couple of days after that. So, I've got to change things this time around. So, I've always done 2 contracts, so what I'm doing is coming down to 1 contract, so I'm reducing my risk by half. Okay, market is officially open. We've got a few fireworks here. So it has bounced 3 times there, so you could call that a triple test, but I'm just not sure what's going to happen here. It is trying to push through, whether it'll eventually get through or whether it'll push up. But there is a channel confirmed there, but we're bottoming out here, so who knows? So, got no idea whether we'll get through here or not. Okay, so after that channel, we made a new bottom. So, let's see what happens here, whether we push up or whether we come down. Because it is possible there might be a couple of legs. Sort of a leg down there. 2 legs of correction and another leg down. That's a possibility. But I'm not going to put that in until we break out the bottom, if we do. Yeah, there's nothing we can really do with this. It's a bit too quick moving, isn't it? It could push up from here, or it could... There's a second entry short there. It could, you know, trigger some shorts and trap them. I don't know. It's hard to go short here at the moment, in all fairness. In all fairness, because there is so much resistance down here. Okay, so there's a failure there. In fact, there was a trap there. But the trouble is, there's a bit of support around here as well, so it's hard to go long above there. So second entry short there, triggered, pushed up, stopped it out. But the trouble is, if you took it there, you got triggered, and I wouldn't be surprised if you're going to get stopped out there. So it's market's very efficient at making your life miserable. Okay, so that's okay. It held that. Is it going to continue up? Because obviously there is a little bit of resistance along here. So wherever you think it is. Okay, so if you took that failure, you're still in at the moment, but it's not looking good, is it? It's hard to take. It's hard to go long or short at the minute because it is just going a bit sideways. We need to give it a bit of time to sort itself out. Reload. Sorry, mate. I'll need to do that every day. Yeah, this time around, I'm trying to change things. I'm bringing my risk down by half. And in all fairness, I've been thinking about this. If you bring it down by half, you lower your risk, obviously, by 50%, which is inevitable. It's going to lower your stress. And I think you probably make more money because so many trades, when I'm risking 2 points, I change my mind and come out of it a point or a point and a half or a few ticks, and it goes on to win in the end. So with the less risk, there's going to be less stress involved. So probably end up being better off, I think. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3. Make all that a triple test. Push down. Try to go once, twice, 3 times. That's good for a couple of points. But in all fairness, it's very jumpy. You know, people getting in trades for the day, so it's a bit. I've got the 1,000 tick chart on. Okay, I don't know how that happened. That's strange. That's strange. I did that. Let me have a look. Wow, look at that. See, that's funny, isn't it? See, my trade isn't there now. I'm going to take that off, otherwise people are going to think I'm nuts. That's weird. It just goes to show you sometimes there are setups on the 1,000 tick chart that there aren't. There's clearly a higher low there. Take away to put it onto 2,000, there's no higher low. See, a lot of people say that the 1,000 there's too much noise, but well, I don't know actually. Do I have to reset that? Let's try it anyway. That is strange. I don't know. I did that. I have duplicated the screen above my head just to zoom out and have a bigger picture. So I don't know if I did it by accident. Okay, let's put that there. Let's bring that up to let's say about there. Let's get rid of this now. It does look a bit different now. And that. Actually, no, let's put that back because there's clearly something there, isn't there? Yeah, I'm just going to put that there because it's clearly struggling there, so I just want to be aware of it over this side just in case we, you know, if we do get an opportunity to go long here, I might think twice about it. But okay, so we've just sort this out now. Okay, so we've had a break and a new low. 2 legs up, 2 legs down, a bounce off here. There was a failure there. In fact, that wasn't about. The trouble is, it's clearly finding resistance, but we get a leg up. There's a second entry short, nice big bearish bar off this line here, which triggers and immediately reverses and pushes up. So there is a failure there, and that's probably not a bad trade to take 1 tick above here. But in all fairness, it's hard to take that because it's going sideways here, and you didn't know it was going to do that. It's got to break out at some point, but you just never quite know. So there we go. So clearly ranging, no argument there. Okay, so maybe retesting this. If we can bounce off here and then maybe get a higher low above the EMA, that might be an option to carry on up. Let's just have a look if there's anything here. It's clearly bouncing in the right place, but trouble is, let's get rid of that a minute. It's a bit confusing. And that. Okay, it's going a bit sideways down here, so I have to be a bit careful here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's a little bit unclear, isn't it? I'm glad you spotted that. Okay, we did have some news earlier, but that's done and dusted. There is some 9 o'clock UK time tonight, but that's neither here nor there. Actually, we'll be well done and finished by then. Hey Chris, how you doing, buddy? Okay, possibility of. I haven't even looked on the daily actually. What happened yesterday? We had okay, and that big sell off, didn't we? And then that big reversal. We more or less finished the same place we started yesterday. So I suppose on the grand scheme of things, it was just sideways yesterday. But obviously, let's have a look. Yeah, okay. So we could eventually come down some more again. Yeah, it's not really pretty hard to trade this stuff, isn't it? It's just a bit choppy above VMA, below, above, below, above, below, above. Yeah, it's a bit hard to trade, really, this. Hey Brant, how you doing? No, it's in fact the last day or two hasn't been that bad. We've had some movement a bit. That was kind of okay. Not a huge amount of setups, but yeah, I don't remember it being this bad last year. It seemed a lot easier to trade. There was a lot more setups. You do seem to struggle to get what I call a really good looking setup. But you know, I have listened to people saying that markets are constantly changing. Kind of hope not. But I mean, was it day before yesterday? It was really predictable. It was the day before yesterday, was it? Or was it this bit? It was this bit, I think. Let's have a look. No, it was the day before it was here. The legs were really predictable. It started off being, one leg, two leg, one leg, two leg, one leg, two leg. It was really predictable. One leg, two leg, one leg, two leg. And then you get other days, you can sort of work out and tell with reasonable accuracy where it's going. But then you get days like this where it's just almost in the lap of the gods. It's almost random. Got the 10,000 tick chart above me. It didn't look any better. Well, I'm just going to drag it in. It just looks like a complete mess. That does. That doesn't tell you nothing, really, does it? Sometimes these bigger time frames can make things a bit clear, but it's just completely unpredictable. I mean, if you can clearly see it's sideways, but it's just all over the place, isn't it? Up, down, up, down. It's quite random. So hopefully it may sort itself out. Just get rid of that. Hopefully, if we can get a bit of a break at the top or bottom, then we may get some. We may get a bigger picture on what's going on. But at the moment, really, you can't trade any of that. We had news here, a few little bits of spikes. Yeah, you may have sort of gone short there. It looked like it was working down here, but it's just a bit unpredictable. Trouble is, you can get yourself in trouble. The easiest way to trade this is just to not just sit and watch it, really. Unfortunately, it is a bit boring. Trading is boring, isn't it? It's just part of the life, unfortunately. It's part of it. I suppose we're not here for excitement, are we? We're here to try and make money. But if you can make good money, I don't mind being a bit bored. I'm going to take this down a bit, maybe. Yeah, let's stick it there. I'm going to bring this whole thing down a bit. Okay, touch, close, touch. So that's not too bad, I think. Probably could take that down a little bit more, but let's leave it there for now. $400 I watched the guy's videos. I'll tell you what, just out of curiosity, you might want to watch these. His videos are really good. He sounds very switched on. I looked into his trading scheme, just his trading system, which was just a bit complicated in my personal opinion, but I like him. What's his name? You might have heard of him. Where is he? Get down. Let's have a look. What's his name? He's quite new. He's only just put videos out there. And he streams live as well. You can watch him live on Zoom. I think it's $100 a month, but he uses it on his screen. He has the NQ there, he has the ES there, he has bookmap here and other different indicators. It's just when you go from Pat's, which is relatively straightforward with a lack of indicators, he's got a lot of indicators, and it's a bit confusing personally. But I like the way he talks about risk management, and he talks about Apex. I always thought really the 50,000 account was the best, but he says the 25,000, which is probably right actually when you think about it. But it's you think about it, on a $50,000 account, are we ever really going to trade more than 4 contracts, which you can maximum on the 25,000? But probably not. So let me just find out where he is, and then when you get a bit of spare time, watch him. How is he? Oh, E-Mini Maverick. Where is it? He's very, very switched on. Let me have a look. He's quite new, but I'm just going to drag it in. Have a watch of those. He's got 2 videos there, Apex Trader Funding and Funding Secrets. They're both really good videos. He's very switched on. He knows what he's talking about. I think he said he'd been trading about 9 years or something like that. But I think he shows you his equity curve, what he's taken from one account. He took one account up to $35,000. But watch him. Just watch the videos. I'm not saying go and do what's it, but he's really good. You trade the 25. Yeah, he basically says the 25 is by far the best. And when you think about it, when he explains it makes perfect sense. You've only got to make $1,500 for a start. You can trade 4 contracts. So it makes it harder to blow an account. And when you get a PA account up to $1,500, your stops, your what's it called? Your trailing drawdown stops. Whereas on the 50,000, you've got to get to 2,600 before your trailing drawdown stops. So it makes sense, and I think the monthly fee, the one-off fee is about $10 cheaper. The account is a bit cheaper, but are you really going to trade more than 4 contracts? You've got 20 accounts and you trade 4 contracts and you win 1 trade a day. That's $400 a day times 20. It's more than you'll ever want. So I also think 20. Yeah, I was always settled on the 50, but the 25 actually is much better. But watch his videos. They're really interesting how he explains it all. But yeah, he's very technical, and I found him thoroughly interesting, actually. He shows you his equity curve, how he started from one account and how he built it up to $35,000. But he's good. He's very clear. American guy. You may have heard him. I don't know, but excuse me. Think I'll check him out. Another interesting guy. Absolutely. Another interesting guy is Nick Shaw. Let me just take a photo of that. Where is it? Nick Shaw. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I was enthralled listening to him. I thought, some people will just capture you. I'm a bit of a waffler, but he's very switched on, and I really enjoyed his video. So watch him if you're a bit bored. But it's great about risk management. But I've got it wrong all the way along. I kind of knew I had, I was trading 2 contracts on the $50,000 account, and in all fairness, it's too much. If you, other forms of trading apart from futures, they talk about 1 to 3%. I know a lot of big investment banks that risk 0.25% and 0.5%. And I've heard people talk about 5% maximum futures. I know Daniel's mentioned 5%. But if I'm trading, 2 accounts, my average loss is, $250. I'm risking 10%. And it's a lot, really. You lose 3 trades, you've lost 30%. It's just too much. If you half it, go down to 1 contract, it releases the pressure. And the less pressure, the less chance you have of blowing an account. It stands to reason, really. And I think I've just fallen into the trap of what majority traders do, try and risk too much too quick and end up blowing loads of accounts. So when I get back onto PA, which is going to be the next week, a couple of PAs, I'm keeping mine down at what I'm going to take a bit of a slower approach. And not only that, if you're trading 2 contracts, you're going to be more nervous with your trades. And I think if there's more nervous, you may mess some trades up. So I think it's better all around. My thoughts are you probably end up making more money with less risk, because you'll let trades go a little bit without worrying about it. Oh, I'm going to lose too much. So let's have a look. So we've hit this a couple of times and we've broken out of it. Are we going to come back? Trouble is, we could come back into it, or we could bounce off here and come back, or we could push above here. We've got 3 different levels here. We've got this top level, we've got this other level here, and we've got this level which we've been bouncing off a few times and broken out of. So I don't know whether we're going to be up or down. I've got no clue. Oh, absolutely what. Well, I had 2 when I blew those 4 accounts. Let's think about this at the moment. Now, if I'm 2 contracts, okay, so if I'm trading 2 contracts, let's pick a random bar, an average size bar, let's say this one. So from top to bottom, that is 3.5 points. Yeah, is that right? Let me just zoom in there. Top to bottom, 3.5. Average size bar, let's say this green one here. It's about average, isn't it? So we're going from here to here. So that's 3.5 points. Tick above, tick below, you've lost $400. That's a lot. $400. You lose 2 trades in a day, you're down $800. You've blown over a third of your account. It's mentally hard to come back from that. I certainly proved that by blowing those accounts. I had those accounts for 2.5, nearly 3 months. And I had 2 rather large losses in a day, $700, and it destroyed me mentally, and I ended up range trading. Now, if I'd have been risking half of that, I'd have lost 350 maximum. You can come back from that. But it just did me too much damage, so I've got to reduce the risk. Everything I've ever read says, you know, you're risking too much, and trouble is, I'm like, the trouble is with me, I'm a bit stubborn sometimes. I can't, it takes me a bit of time to get it through my thick head. I'm my own worst enemy sometimes, trying to rush it, trying to get too big too quick. And I'm missing some of the basics of risk management. And I'm making a right pig's ear of it, in all fairness. That may be probably safer to go there. That's a bit better, I think. Truly consistent trade patch. You really shouldn't have 2 losses in a day. The trouble is, Bran, if you, let's say I lost that bar I just mentioned there, I'm down $400 in one, which is a rather large bar. Now, straight away, that $400 loss gets inside your head, and it's pretty hard. So the chances of you having another loss straight after another loss, straight after a previous loss, climbs up. You know, we all have this psychological battle. Well, I say 2 trades, walk away. But trouble is, if I'm risking £400 on that one trade, I'm risking about what's that? Risking about 12 or 13%. It's a lot. You know, if you go to one of these banks and talk to some of these traders and say, I'm risking 13% in a trade, they look at you like you have just walked off a banana boat. It's just too much, really, and I think that's why we're relatively new traders and we're inexperienced traders. We've not got all the the support that comes along with working for a firm. You know, we've got to try and arrange our own support, which is easier said than done. And I've struggled. Now, I would say if I'd have lost 2 trades that one day, and that's the first day I'd lost 2 trades for a while. Now, it could be you've had a bad day, or your mind isn't on the game, or for whatever reason, it does happen. Some days, things just don't work. So I think if you can walk away on 2 losses with only 1 contract, I'd have lost 300 maximum as opposed to 700, or 350 maximum as opposed to 700. And a lot of trades as well, you know, some trades, because a lot of times when you take a trade, it'll pull back before it continues higher. I find sometimes with 2 contracts, when I'm getting close to that $200 and it comes back, I get out for a tick, a point, half a point, whereas it carries on. So if I'm risking less, I'll feel less pressure to try and get out of a trade, because most trades I take that I get out of will go on to win anyway. So I think that the lack of too much risk, we all feel it, don't we, when we're in a trade? We all get that feeling. Now, if you're walking in, let's say you're walking into town and you walked into a betting shop or something with $1,000 in your pocket and you bet, say, $200, you'd be pretty nervous, wouldn't you? If you bet $20, it wouldn't even bother you, because a loss isn't really going to affect you. So I think my big problem is not the trading. I think I can trade well enough when I'm in the right frame of mind. My real problem, I think, is risk management. I can feel the stress when I'm in a trade, and it's too much. So I obviously need to do something about it. Now, if I can get an account up to $5,000, double my drawdown, because obviously you're trading. $50,000 account means nothing really. It's bullshit. What you're trading with really is $2,500. So if you can get the account up to $5,000, then I can go from one contract to two. But it's surprising how these accounts build up. But everybody tells you the same thing. People try and rush it. They try and get too big. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It takes time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And that's me. That's what I've been doing. Just trying to run before I can walk, really. I've been in it long enough now to have picked up some skills to be able to trade, but risking too much is just affecting my psychology a bit. True, but that's what I mean. If you're risking a lot, you're going to feel it. When I was trading those 4 accounts, and I was getting close to that $2,600, when I went to trade, I felt like I had somebody's hands around my neck. Now, if I'd reduce that risk, it's common sense that the stress level is going to come down. Do you know what I mean? And I've been battling. Well, they say the definition of insanity is to do the same thing every day. And that's what I've been doing. That's the one factor that I'm missing. That psychological thing. And everyone is telling me the same thing. Every sort of more experienced trader that I sort of read about or whatever is telling me the same thing. You're risking too much. Everybody risks too much. So that's one of the sort of common denominator there is that I think that's the problem, and I've got to sort of bring that down. 1 or 2 setups under a certain context. You have actually, but you're right. But you still have to have your risk management correct. And $400 risking 12 or 13%. You take a couple of losses, you have a bad day, and we all have bad days. You've lost nearly a third of your account, and you struggle to get back from that. So I'm just going to take a slightly. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to. I want to stick to the 2 contracts really, but it's the one thing I've never really done. So you've got to try these things, haven't you? I've even heard Daryl Martin say, when he said to that Vince guy, when he had a chat with that Vince guy, he said, everyone trades too much. And for a guy who makes money out you blowing accounts, for him to tell you you're trading too large and to slow it down, he can't be bullshitting you, can he? He makes money out of you failing, so telling you to do the opposite, which, making his business money. But, if you research, why do new traders or inexperienced traders lose money or blow accounts, nearly everything says there's always a statement there, they risk too much. You've gotten to payouts, you've been consistent. Unfortunately, I don't think the setups and procedures for us last year, we see. I agree. You've got to expand your trade. See, a lot of times I miss tops and bottoms because, in all fairness, I suck at them. Triple tests as well. Sometimes triple tests are pretty straightforward, and other times they're not. So I just I suppose as you sit and trade these markets every day, you'll notice patterns, and I think you'll naturally develop as a trader. you know, it doesn't matter what you learn in life. When you get into the real markets or the real job yourself, you naturally develop. You know, you learn, and your experience helps you out, takes better trades, and but you know, I did build those accounts up to $2,300, and that big loss that day affected me. You know, I could always do the one account, two contracts, one account, one contracts. That way I've got the best of both worlds. But what I think is a good idea, if you can get up to say 10 accounts, is to split them 5 and 5. Don't trade them all on one day. So that way, if you do get a bad day, you know you've not got all your eggs in one basket. So that's something else I want to do as well. Split up the counts. I like that idea, that maybe getting 5 and 5 and then building up till you've got 10 and 10. You get a black swan event or something happens, or you make a cock up or a mistake, and you can cause your accounts damage. I'd like to know that I've only risked half of them or something's gone wrong, but I like that idea of maybe, you know, trade your one account, your 5 accounts, and then if you know, you win a trade, then swap over to your other 5 or something. But I like the idea of splitting it up. There's nothing you can really do here, is there? There is a second entry long there, but it's below this, and it's below the EMA, so you just don't know. Sometimes that might trigger you and come down and stop you out. Other times it pushes up, but in all fairness, it's not really a great setup because we have had that channel breaking a new high, and we have tried to get higher a bunch of times. And I noticed the market doing this all the time. It'll come down and give you a long, then you'll get into a long, and then it'll come back and give you another long, and then all of a sudden it'll drop and give you a shafting. Yeah, I agree with you, Kevin. I agree with you. But in all fairness, losing a third of your pot size in one day, any experienced trader would tell me I'm a moron. If I lose 2 trades and I've lost a third of my capital in one day, any respectable trader worth their salt would tell you I was an idiot, and I'd have to agree with them. But you know, one contract, get up to $5,000, then go up to 2 contracts, and then maybe one contract every $2,500 or something. But if I wouldn't have lost that $700, if I'd have lost half of it, I'd have survived another day. But I've printed out some sheets. I designed a couple of little sheets just to fill in every day, just to try and engage myself a little bit. It's just like a trading plan, really. Tells me my daily trades, and I just write in that one trade, it was a win, what my P&L was, what my profit, trade summary, what time it was, what it was on. And I have a note which I make, trading plan and risk management, and I write down what I do every day. Max 2 losses in a trading day, walk away, 2 contracts max, no revenge trading, mustn't follow the rules, I need to focus on our business, and I've got a brief summary at the end of the day. So I'm going to focus. My hardest thing for me is to walk away at 2 losses. So I'm trying to be aware of what I'm doing. So I'm going to really focus. If I can't do that, if I haven't got enough self-control to walk away after 2 losses, I may as well give up. Because if I can't take it that serious, that I can't walk away. So you know what I mean. You all go through it. You're either going through it, or you've been through it, or you're going to go through it. That's my plan. Yeah, you've got to have a plan, and I think it's good to write down that plan and focus on it. You know, engage with it, and then you know, what do they say? Sort of write the plan, follow the plans. I can't remember. What's the saying? Plan the day, follow the plan, something like that. Someone will say, I think. It's a sink or swim time for most of us, I would say, yeah. I did watch, you know, the spread betting guy. I watched him, another video, why most traders lose. And majority of traders, because they think it's too difficult and they walk away. And that trader as well, that performance coach, I watched another one of hers, and she said most traders can't stick at it long enough to get to that stage where they start to be able to manage that, that psychology. And that's where most traders fail. They get to the point where they think this just isn't working and they walk away. I mean, let's face it, most of you guys, I've been doing this Pats now for coming up 2.5 years. I know things like Brandt and I know Wood. I know you guys have been doing it that long at least. And you must have seen people come and go. You must have had thoughts of finishing. I have. I have thoughts of jacking it in, but then when I have a break for a couple of days, I come back with sort of renewed vigour. But you must have seen people come and go. It's a fair amount of time to stick to something for 2 years. It's usually a good indication you're going to stick at it. But I've seen people on the Facebook group that will come in for 3 or 4 months and then disappear. You'll never hear from them again. But we have a working strategy. It's just control it. Yeah. The one thing we can agree with that, we've all got a good strategy. Just controlling the discipline, yeah. That's the biggest thing, isn't it? Sticking to what you say. So, okay, my focus today is going to be to wait for a good setup and take it. If I win 2 trades, I walk away. If I lose 2 trades, I walk away. Pretty simple, really, isn't it, when you think about it? It couldn't be any simpler, but doing it is a different thing. So that's my focus. I'm trying to focus on the things that I find difficult enough. And I was watching someone on YouTube about discipline, and they reckon you can practice it and get better at it. So say you're going to do one thing that's a little bit challenging every day and stick to it. And the more you do it, the better you get at it and the better focus. It's something like that anyway, but Max said last night, don't move the stop here. To be fair, I'm not moving the stop much now. That's not so much of my problem. It's just revenge trading. It's jumping in when I'm frustrated and angry and carrying on trading. So I'm going to try and focus my trading day with you guys. And then when I finish that, I walk away. And that's my plan to try and focus on. Simple, I allow myself 3 trades max. Agreed. Different conditions. 2 wins in a row. Out. Agreed. 2 losses in a row. Out. Yeah. I think that's about as good as you can get, really. It's a good, fair balance, that. 3 trades maximum. So that allows you a couple of wins and a loss. 1 loss and a win, I trade more. Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely. It's okay to have a win and a loss, isn't it? At least you're back to square one then. But yeah, I agree with that. I think it's about as a fair a plan as you can come up with. But my plan is to try and work hard at the things I'm struggling with. I know I can see a good trade, although we don't get a massive amount of them, so you've got to adapt a bit. But I know if a trade's risky, and I know if a trade's a good trade, and I just need to focus on the rest. When something goes wrong, that's the problem. When something goes wrong, and it does go wrong, we have bad days. It's rare I blow. It's rare I lose 2 trades in a row. That's the first time I've done it in 7 weeks. I hadn't lost 2 trades in a row in between 6 and 9 weeks that I'd done those accounts. And I had 1 day. Now, what I should have done then is walked away. If I'd have walked away, I'd have lived to fight another day. So my biggest focus now is what I do when I lose two losses. And if I can get to grips with that and manage that, then I've got half a chance. Okay, so it's a bit of a tough day today, isn't it? Choppy. It's very choppy, really. We're getting different sort of tops here, aren't we? So let's put something else up here. In fact, it might be better off doing that. There's more tops there, isn't there? Yeah. Let's put... Okay, so we got 1 there, 3 there with that little breakout. Hey, Speedy, how you doing, pal? That is what Mac was saying. Now, if you lose too much in a day, there is no coming back. Yeah, that's the key, wasn't it? I think if you lose 2 trades in any one trading day, whether it's a loss, a win, and a loss, go away. I've got to say, I find it very hard to do that, but if I can get past the night, the following day, that desire goes. So it's how you deal with that urge. And I watched that Anton Creel talk about that the other day. He said, we all get those urges, but you just push it away. So I think if it happens and you're aware of it, you've got to try and go, okay, I'm not going to let that get to me. I'm going to push it away. And whatever you got to do, get out the house, go for a walk, whatever you got to do, get away. And if you can do that once successfully, then you can do it again, and then you can do it more and more and more. And then if you can get that implemented into your trading, then the chance of you becoming successful jumps forward massively. Got my accounts funded. Good on you, mate. I mean, 2 of them, absolutely solid, and 1 more tomorrow. I think 2 to 3 accounts is a good number. Anton always said trades don't something in the past, let your losses go. That's the real skill, what that is. It is. There's that book, isn't it? I listened to it. I've got it on Audible on my phone. Trouble is I keep putting on at night when I'm in bed and I keep falling asleep. So the best loser wins. That's the key, isn't it, to be a good loser? So I think what you have to do is prepare for a loss. Don't prepare to lose, prepare for a loss. Okay, I'm going to have this thing in plan if I take 2 losses. And then as soon as you take 2 losses, you implement that straight away, whatever it is. But I think if you think about it before every trading session, it's probably a good idea, actually. If you think about it, now what's my plan for the day? The biggest challenge should be if I lose twice during this trading session, doesn't matter whether you have a win, a loss, and then another loss. You get up and you walk away. Leave everything. Literally just shut your screen down and walk away. Whatever. Go down to the gym, go down to the pub, whatever. Go out for a walk. Whatever it is. We have to accept losses. Yeah, we do, don't we? It's very hard as a newbie, yeah, but I think if you can get to the stage where you can accept the loss, once you get past the rest of that day into the following day, that urge, that frustration will go. And I think it'll be a great sense of achievement. And in all fairness, if you can do that, I think you deserve a massive pat on the back because you've overcome probably the toughest obstacle there is in the life of a trader. So I think, you know, it's a good idea if you can do that to set yourself up with some sort of treat. You know what I mean? I might go out and buy myself an expensive bottle of whiskey or something like that. I don't know, maybe a real top class hooker or something. Some sort of a treat. Because it's a big obstacle to overcome that. I think a treat's a good idea, I do. Still with it, yeah. Any other counts I have, I'm having the 25,000. There's no point really, the 50, is there? You know, there's no point. One, it costs you a little bit more. If you pay the one-off fee, it's an extra $10. You're never going to trade 10 accounts, are you? Very, very few people will have 20 accounts and trade 10 contracts. I bet there isn't many out there. In fact, and you can look this up, that Vince guy that withdrew that 800,000, if you watch his video, he's got 20, mark this, 20 $300,000 accounts. And he said nearly all the time he only trades 2 contracts. So that goes to show, doesn't it? If he's only trading 2 contracts, why have 300,000? I don't know why people have $300,000 accounts. I don't know, perhaps you're looking for, I don't know. But I like the idea of the 25. You've only got to make $1,500. You get to your drawdown where that stops a lot quicker in your PA account and you start to. You know what I mean? That is Mac for trade 10. Who was that, Lance? Does he have a YouTube channel? What are you on about, mate? What am I missing here? There is more cushion. Yeah, there is more cushion, yeah. But you got to make $20,000. That's a lot of money to make, isn't it? Just to pass your account. Everyone's got their own way of doing things, and there's no one shirt fits all. And I don't say to anybody, I think you're mad doing that. If it works for you, you've got the money to do it, you want to do it. That's what I say. Because you might have different plans. But yeah, one NQ runner. Yeah, we'll get you 20k. The trouble is, mate, and I've had problems with this in the past. If you go, let's say, for instance, you push up. Let's talk about the ES. Let's say you push up 5 points, okay? And you come back and you, I don't know, take a trade, because it's rare it'll go up like that. A lot of the times it'll come back. So if you've gone up 10 points and you've come out and you've gone out for break even, 10 points on what we trading here, 10 contracts. So your trading drawdown has come up something like $5,000. So that's the issue when you're trading max contracts. That's why I've had problems trading 10 contracts. It goes up 3 points or 2 points. It comes back straight away. Your trading drawdown's been reduced by $1,500 straight away. So I've probably blown 70% of my accounts trading 10 contracts. Doesn't work. You've really got to rely on luck. There's a bit of skill in there, but I mean, when this comes down from here, you don't know it's going to do that. You don't know it's going to do that. A lot of times it could come up, come back. And the trouble is, you've got a lot of room to manoeuvre when you're trading max contracts. But like I say, one size doesn't fit all. And I know people like Daniel. Now, Daniel is a successful trader, makes a lot of money. You wouldn't think he would trade max contracts when he trades an evaluation, but he does. He trades 10 contracts. I have 2 losses a day rule. I think that's a good idea. 1 loss, it's a shame to go away because you might get 2 wins then. But I think, yeah, 2 losses in a day is the right number. Now, the beauty of me going down back to 1 contract is 2 losses in a day. I'll probably lose the average of $300. Now, that doesn't scare my brain. $700 does, but $300 doesn't. Less prone to try and compensate previous losses. Yeah. Max evals only on. I trade max on evals, but only 4-6 ticks. Yeah, I think Daniel does that, doesn't he? 6 ticks. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, what are they now? $15, $17, $16, I think. That's the trouble with them making them so cheap. It's hard not to take risks, isn't it? They don't do us any favours in a strange way. But we all want them, don't we? This is pretty hard to trade today, isn't it? How long have we been going here? An hour. Can't do much with this, really. It's about as it's about as choppy as it gets, really. There's nothing I can see worth taking. Absolutely. It was $15. It's peanuts, isn't it? What's that? In the UK, that's about £12. I went down to visit my sister in Winchester, and I had a large Scotch, a large Lefroy. It cost me £15. Yeah, $15 is sod all, is it? And that's the trouble. So you think, well, if I can get a bit lucky here and get 3 points, max contracts, I'm up $1,500. That'll give me one. I'll have a good start. And you do it and you blow it, so you take another. And you do it and you blow it again, and you think, oh, it's only $15. I've got to take another one, and that's what happens. And I've blown 10 in a day on 90% off. I have 10 in a day. I opened a bottle of whiskey, bottle of Abelauer about 6 months ago, just to have one drink when I was finished trading. About 2 hours later, I'd blown 10 accounts and drunk nearly off the bottle of whiskies. So it just doesn't work. I got to say, when you do have a drink, though, the stress goes. Put it that way, but. Trading when you've had a few just does not work. So it's just another one of my stupid things I've done. Yeah, that was a big mistake. That I traded 10, took one, failed it, took another, failed it, took another, failed it, and I was just going for 6 points stupidly. It just doesn't work. It does not work. You may get lucky 1 in 10 times, but when the markets are like this. If you look at this, very few movements that will get you the full points without coming back on you. Yeah, it is hard. I've done some stupid stuff, I have. The trouble is, I'm a bit stubborn sometimes. I'm my own worst enemy, I think. But I am definitely feel like I'm getting to that point where I'm realising that I am just throwing away money and time. Which is why, for the first time in 2.5 years, I've decided to go down to one contract to give myself a little bit less stress and a little bit more breathing room. Nice push down now, I see. And I know what, didn't somebody say yesterday? Who was it? Even Wilson started going for max contracts. Did he do one yesterday, the day before, on the news? I think it was the news. And it shot up and gave him 6 points. I think it was the news he did it. It is hard not to, I got to say, when you're paying $15. In an ideal world, what you want to do is hit to your 6. I go for 6.25 points. That gives me, after the fees, it gives me about $70, $80 to cover my 1 micro a day for the previous, and you're done, aren't you? So it is easy to do. Nice fail second. Yeah, trouble is it's choppy as shit, isn't it? Where's your failed second entry long? In about here, so that one there. Trouble is you don't know whether it's going to trigger you. This market can be brutal sometimes. See, another way to do it, if you trade in larger contracts, is just to sell somewhere up here, put your stop up here, and then buy somewhere around here and put your stop down there. You got just as much chance. Chances are, every time it comes down here, it's pushing up anyway. That's the trouble. I mention that when it does this, it'll give you a maybe, yeah, exactly. We've got a new high there, second entry long. So you're getting the long. I mentioned that earlier. Then we got another long, and you think, yeah, we're pushing up. So you're getting the long there, and all of a sudden, wham, it takes out that long, comes back up again. Maybe triggers that one to go higher, comes down and takes them all out. There's probably not many longs here. There are probably some there, maybe there, definitely some there, possibly there, but yeah. I am noticing this, and I've done it myself. I've been that focused on when we have a break. We've had a break there in a new low, but so many times I'm focused in trying to look for longs, and it almost tears you in and then just turn. So I'm starting to notice this pattern now and starting to think, I ain't getting involved in that lot. Yeah, the market is very, very clever at making money, isn't it? And taking out weak positions. That's why you've just got to wait for a solid position. If you can get a really good solid trade, the better traders out there will see that trade and they'll jump in that trade, and the good trades really move, don't they? And it's trying to find those good trades. Well, we know what they look like. It's just we don't often get them, so it's just mustering up that patience to be able to sit there and then wait for a good trade. I mean, if you had great patience, then you'd be better off trading more contracts. And, if you traded 3 or 4 contracts and just took maybe 2 or 3 trades a week, you'd make all the money you need. Second entry on a range market, yeah. Sometimes range days can be okay, and other times they can be messy. Sometimes they'll go from the top to the bottom, and maybe in legs, but at the moment, it looks very much like a heart monitor. It's just a bit random, isn't it? I see we're coming off this line straight away. If you can get maybe in a trade off here or something, thinking you're going to push back the top, and then all of a sudden we struggle. But range days are definitely harder to trade. But I suppose if you look at it like this, if we sit here for 4 or 5 hours, all you've got to do is find one trade for a couple of points. And if you can do that once a day, that's $1,000 per week. Even if you can make half of that. So really, you only need, 1 2-point trade every other day to make yourself $2,000 a month per account. But sometimes we lose the patience because we think I've got to get a trade. Well, you don't have to get a trade if there's not one available. You can't. I've done it myself. I've waited patiently for 3 hours. In the last 15 minutes, I've taken a stupid risky trade, just trying to, get some green on the put, and I ended up losing. So I know what I need to do, but doing it's a bit tougher than it seems. But it's why I'm reducing my contract size. It's the one thing I haven't done, and the one I'd say consistent bit of advice I've had or I've read again and again and again and again, and it's the one thing I've put my hand up and go, no, I want to get there a bit quicker, and it's not done me any favours, I don't think. But yeah, it's not a bad idea, Kev, that really. Unless you get, if we're coming from top to bottom and we come off the bottom and maybe we get a first entry, then we push up and then it drops and then pushes up strongly. If we get a failure, that's a type of trade that I wouldn't mind taking. But yeah, trying to find trades here and here. Market is moving, but it's taking an appropriate trade, isn't there? And when it's like this, it makes your life miserable. So I think you're better off putting your feet up and just maybe, I don't know, walking away for half an hour. Very hard to trade this. So we pushed down, we pushed up, 2 legs up, maybe a bearish bar. We've had 2 pushes up there. If that's bearish, that's the type of trade I'd expect to come down. But we could get a leg and a leg. Yeah, that's not finished. Brilliant anyway. But yeah, there's nothing I can really see. Not a lot. It's worth taking. Nothing really. Trouble is, if we're coming from top to bottom, there's a lower high there. That might not have been a terrible trade after this. We've clearly struggled to go higher, and we got a few bars. and we push down, we strongly push up, then we trigger above it, and then we drop back. That's maybe not a bad lower high to take. Trouble is, it's easy to see these after the fact, and you've got to try and imagine what they were like at the time. When it's like this, I think breaks now and again as well, just a quick 5 minutes every hour or something like that, or every 45 minutes is probably a good idea. Just to curb the boredom. In fact, I'm going to take 5 minutes now while it's doing this, and I'm going to make a quick cup of coffee. You just can't trade this at the moment, really. I mean, you could get a trade which pops out, looks really nice, but I don't think I'm going to miss much by taking a quick 5 minutes, but I'm going to make myself a coffee. I have a leg and a leg. Okay. 5 minutes, I'll be back. Okay. I'm back. What have I missed? Not a lot. Okay, leg and a leg. That's the trouble, really. These legs and leg. They don't always do them lately. We had a really predictable day the other day, but if we'd have got higher low there, that might not have been a bad way for a second leg, but unfortunately it didn't give us anything. Let me have a look. Creep to have this channel on or not. Yeah, it's creepy. Start my coaster. I thought you liked the peace and quiet when I'm not yabbering on. Leg. Okay, so we're probably likely going to bounce off here. We have every other time. So usually, whenever we do that side by side a bit, we come down. Same there. Eventually, we came down. We did have another go, and we seem to be doing it here. So that's usually a sign we're struggling to get above. So if we can get a push down and maybe a lower high here or something like that. Let's just check there's no channel there. Yeah, there is a channel, but there's a channel here, but it didn't stop it coming down. So depends how you look at that, really. In fact, it's probably safer to do that. Yeah. Okay, so there's our little break out of here. Let's see what happens now. Leg and a leg, that's a good sign. We had a little bit of a struggle there and we managed to push up again. So let's see what we get here. See if we can catch something on the way down. If that does continue up, then I may extend that. But it is struggling a bit, so it's a leg and a leg, so that's good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Let's leave it there for now. Okay, so it's clearly finding a bit of resistance there. So I'd like to see it drop and then maybe something further down here. I'd rather see it below here, really, because it may come down a bit, trigger you, and then push up, and we may end up having that bigger channel after all. So it's hard to say at the moment, but I'm assuming we've had a break and made a new high. So let's see what goes. Ghost Story, that's the thought. I'm watching that that Russell Crowe film tonight. What's it called? The Pope's Exorcist. What did I miss? Not a lot, mate. You missed all this. Looks like an erratic heartbeat. Not really, mate, to be fair. There's not a lot there, really. Not a massive amount of setups. I don't know whether you'd have taken that one. If I'd have got a higher low there, then I may have taken that, but... okay, so let's see where this goes. There's the high of the day up there. I kind of like this, that we've got that, because I can see it now without having to worry about going back. Michael Chin would have taken that. Is anybody watching him since he's been back on YouTube? Oh, bless him. He got me into this, to be fair, so I got to give him that credit. He's responsible for making my life miserable. I must thank him for it one day. Perhaps I should send him a gift, like a parcel bomb or something like that. Me too. Yeah, he did actually. I was trading currency at the time, and I saw him trading that, and I thought that's more like me. One chart, one time frame. That was it. He was all right, actually. He was okay. He seemed all right. In fact, to be honest with you, I was so close to paying $300 to join his course, and then I Googled him a bit, or his course, or something like that, and then found out Mac. It came from Mac, and when I realised Mac was a third of the price and a lot more experience, I was quite chuffed, actually. Okay, so maybe a bigger channel going on here. We may get above this. It's clearly trying and struggling at the moment, but we sort of had the same there, really, and then eventually it gave in, so it's hard to say at the moment whether we're going to push up or not. What I like about it is, unlike this, we had a clear break and a push up, but this at the moment, it looks like it could fit. I mean, you could draw it as a shorter term, but at the moment, it looks like it's trying to fit. I like the way it's going sideways. A lot of times, as these channels, it'll go up from the left-hand side, right to the right-hand side, and then off it'll launch again. So I'm a bit on the fence as to what's coming here, but this may be a way up. It's possible. But I ain't trading either at the moment. I want to see it push up, come back, retest before I think about moving. That's how I found out about. Yeah, from Michael Chin. Who knows? Who knew? It's kind of uncanny, really, isn't it? And then Mac went and sued him. He got Mac a load of business, and Mac went and... Well, I believe he did. I don't know whether he sued him or not, did he? Or I don't know. But trouble is, whatever strategy you have, usually it comes from someone else. I think originally they made around... I counted they made around 300,000. No way, did they really? Bloody hell. The trouble is, I suppose, didn't Mac get it originally from Al Brooks, didn't he? So most of these strategies have usually come from someone else, haven't they? So I don't know. I don't know whether Mac sued him, did he? I don't know. I think it was not the fact that he was teaching it. I think it's more that he almost repackaged Mac's setup. Not setup, yeah, format. I don't know. Don't quite know, actually. Was it Michael Chin? I wouldn't have found out. Yeah, exactly. So I suppose in a way, Mac got business. He got business off me, got business off you, got business off a lot of you. Copied Mac's manual. Yeah, exactly. That's a different story, isn't it? If you start copying people's material, obviously you've got copyright issues then. So that's fair enough, isn't it? Then it becomes a legal matter, doesn't it? But, you know, just seeing his you know, I mean, many people charge, don't they? Charge to sort of watch them stream. They It took Max, didn't he? The guerrilla trader, he took Max and just went for more points. So it's inevitable, isn't it? People learn it. They may decide to want to teach it. I know Marco does it as well, doesn't he? Marco does top pick trading. So everybody does it. You know, you learn something and you pass it on to someone else. It's the way the world goes round. But yeah, when you start nicking people's material, obviously, then there's a legal issue there, isn't there? Michael's videos, it seems to be a lot easier than it is. Yeah, it does. I've seen him lately. He's swapped things around a bit, hasn't he? Or I got that impression. And what's the other guy? His sort of sidekick, wasn't it? It was like they were like Batman and Robin, weren't they? What's his name? Riley. I think he's doing something different. He's going for bigger moves, isn't he, now? And on micros, last I looked. He is back. Yeah, Riley Coleman, isn't it? He is back, I think. I'm pretty sure I... let's have a look. Wiley Coleman. Let me have a look. Yeah, his last video was 3 weeks ago. Yeah, day in the life of a $20,000 a month YouTuber. I'm assuming he's not talking about himself, is he? I don't know. There you go. Day in the life of a $20,000 a month YouTuber. Perhaps that's what he's aspiring. That's what we're all aspiring to, doesn't it? But they get some views. I gotta say, he's got 177. I think Michael Chin's got a lot more, but they're getting some views. People are watching. A month ago he's had 23,000 views, so he's getting. Look at that one. There's over 1/3 views there, so he's getting views, so he's doing something right. There's the granddaddy. He's like he's the last person you expect that looks like a trader. Yeah. Al Brooks. He looks like an old dentist, doesn't he, really? He was a doctor, I believe, wasn't he? In the 70s, I think. 70s? Late 70s? Yeah, he's back. They're both back. But yeah, I found Max from his, so I suppose Mac got business, really. So, at the end of the day, Mac's charging 1/3 of the price. So I think people come to it via him and then obviously move on to Mac. But I still think Mac undercharges, to be fair. He could charge a lot more than that. A lot more than that. But I think he does it because he enjoys doing it. He doesn't really want to sort of make a ton of money out of people. His business is obviously a trader and he's good at it and he obviously makes a lot of money out of it. Panda guy as well, exactly. He started off with Mac, didn't he? I think a lot did. But yeah, he charges, doesn't he? You can pay to join his pre-market or something like that. I think Wilson charges as well, doesn't he? That's Mac's stuff. Plus, Mac wanted to sue Chin. Yeah, I mean, if you started, someone mentioned his manual. Yeah, I mean, if you're nicking people's material, then it's a different story. Still lives in the 90s. It does a bit, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. You open it up and there's that tiny little square. Yeah, it does. I've noticed that. There's that tiny little square. It's like one of the old-fashioned websites, isn't it? Yeah. I'm surprised he still only charges $125. Not that I'm complaining. Has anybody seen him on YouTube? Have they, apart from... Because he is on Facebook, isn't he? And you can hear him talk. He's on Facebook. If you find, I think you naturally, I wanted to see what he looks like. But if you find him on YouTube, I didn't know whether it was him because he looks, obviously we don't know what he looks like. And his name's sort of not uncommon. So, but then when he's got a video on there that he's renting out something, a house or something. And he videos it from his phone, obviously, when you hear him talking. I forget his name now. What's his name? Is he something McCulloch, isn't he? I think his name is. What's it? McCulloch. I can't remember his name now. Something McCulloch. Gone blank now. See if I can find him. Something McCulloch. I can't remember his name now. No, it's not. That's his surname. It's McCulloch, I think. Is it something McCulloch? 2 years ago. Can I download those add-ons for Ninja Trader? I couldn't find the link on his website. It is still there on his website, yeah. Yeah, you've got to be part of his website. You can download it. If you go into... Ken, that's it. Well done, Sam. I knew you'd come up with the goods. Let me have a look. See if I can find him. I'll show you what he looks like. That's the trouble. When you listen to someone day in, day out, you want to know what they look like. Ken McCulloch. See if I can find him. It's changed. He was wearing a green jumper, I think. There's nothing we can do at the moment anyway. It's just choppy as shit, isn't it, really? It's coming up slow. Can't find it now. He's got a green t-shirt on. Pictures aren't coming up at the moment for some reason. Can't find him now. Unless he's changed his jumper. That's not him, is it? No, Ontario. He's not Canada, is he? I can't find him now. I'll have a look later. If I find him, I'll make a note of it. I always like to see who I'm listening to. Try to put a face to his name, a face to the voice. No, I can't see it now. I can't see. Realise I was looking and got rid of it. I don't know. I can't see him. Yeah, it's Nick. That's what it is. Yeah, somebody said they called him Mac because McCulloch. Yeah, Ken McCulloch. But yeah, if you go onto his Facebook page, there's a video on there which he's posted on there because he's into real estate. He has mentioned he's into real estate. He posts a video where he's viewing for people to rent around an apartment, and you can hear him talking. Then obviously you know it's him. But he is a nice guy. I've got to say, he does come over really nice, genuinely. And the fact that he charges a measly $125, he's not out for ripping anybody off, is he? He makes his money as a trader. And he did say, I believe it's Ken McCulloch, yeah. He did say that that if he did well at this, he wanted to give something back. I think he's a churchgoer, isn't he? So he's a Christian and all that. I'm not very religious in all fairness, but he likes to give something back, so I kind of like that. I like when people do that. I'm not sort of mega religious. I've sort of lost it over the years, I have. I like to think there's somewhere else we all go. I like to think I'm going to see. There it is. I like to think I'm going to see my mum again and my dad and stuff like that. But there he is. That's him there. That's Mac. Does he look like you expected him to look? It's got a video on here. That's it. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind playing it. He's posting it anyway, but you should be able to hear it. Let me have a look. Can you hear him? I can't hear nothing on here. Can you hear him?
Kitchen area.
Someone put a comment in. I can't hear nothing, but I have my volume off for the microphone. See, but you can tell it's him, can't you?
You just put a brand new dishwasher.
Looks like me. Does he?
New countertops.
Who'd believe there's two good-looking guys? You can hear him, yeah. It's definitely him, isn't it? Yeah, but yeah, there he is. A nice-looking guy, actually, isn't he? He does look like a friendly guy.
Washer and dryer.
But yeah, that's him, Ken McCulloch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got 2 bedrooms. They're both exactly
Yeah, he's
the
posted that
same.
on there for people
They're
to see. If
larger
people want
than
privacy, they
normal
don't. But he's
bedrooms.
obviously
They're
renting
12
that
by
out.
12.
I'm assuming that's his. But I know he's into real estate, yeah. But it's
Bedroom
nice to
has
put
a master bath.
When I listen to someone, I always kind of like to put a face to the name. But yeah, there you go. That's him. Ken
Countertops
McCulloch.
there.
Or Mac as we know him. And love him. And he's looking at the same shit we are at the moment. There's nothing. I mean, it's pretty rotten today, isn't it? In all fairness, it's a lot of ups and downs, isn't it? A lot of bouncing and bouncing. What we got? Pal speaking later at 9 o'clock UK time. What's that? 4 o'clock? 5 o'clock? 4 o'clock for you guys? Most of you? Yeah, it's nice to put been listening to him for a couple of years. Nice to put a face to the name, isn't it? There's a picture of me, in case you don't know. Me and my wife. I think that was about 2 years ago, I think, around about Christmas time. I went for the beard look there. It doesn't get very thick for some reason. It doesn't thicken up, but that was me a couple of years ago. And you can see my beloved watch. The Moon Watch. Which I don't have anymore. He's in Oxford, Mississippi. Ah, interesting. Looks like he rents it. Yeah, he has mentioned he's into real estate. But I suppose if you got spare money nowadays, you invest it, don't you? And I suppose you rarely lose money in bricks and mortar. This is a picture of me a couple of years ago. I'd had rather a lot to drink, as you can tell, in a pub in town. Yeah, quite a bit to drink that night. You all have a King's Head. Oh, do you really? Yeah, it's a local pub. It's one of those really old black and white buildings from the, I don't know, 16th century or whatever, 17th century, whatever they are. But Shrewsbury, where I live, is known for them. That's where, Charles Darwin went to school. And you can actually walk around Charles Darwin's, it's the library now, the local library. Where I live, you can walk around his old school, his old classroom. And that's me at 21, just before I got shot out of a cannon. Did my first skydive there at 21 years old. Back in the day where they had round parachutes. Yeah, there's buildings. There's a pub. In fact, in Shrewsbury, where I live, there's the world's first skyscraper, 4 stories high, is in Shrewsbury. We've got Shrewsbury Castle, which is 800 years old. There's loads of history around Shrewsbury where I live. But I used to walk past it every single day, Shrewsbury Castle. It's got a lot of history. A lot of history. And you'll know this picture, what? What should know this one? That's where I want to go in a couple of years. What will tell you where that is. Famous mountain in South Africa, Table Mountain. That's Newlands. It's a cricket ground. Newlands cricket ground. That's where I want to go for a month. What's the cricket? And this is the book that I'm currently reading. Just in case anybody else needs it out there, I can happily pass it on. Tough book, that one. Tough book. Yeah, Newlands Cricket Ground, South Africa, Table Mountain. Looks absolutely stunning. That's me and my wife who got married in Kenya about 15 years ago. Went out there for 3 weeks. Did a week on the beach, a week safari and a week on the beach. Yeah, if you ever get the chance to go on safari, absolutely spectacular. Absolutely loved it. Anyway, I'm only getting them out and boring you because there's just not much you can do here, really, is there? We're going to push up from here, aren't we? I don't know, 15 years, and you still have hair. I've got really thick hair, I have. Yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones. I've got a picture of me, my best mate here. Oh, wife's here. My best mate, Mike. And you can see the difference. He's lost his. I've still got mine, so I'm quite lucky, really. Enjoy the pictures. Yeah, it's just nice sometimes, and it's just. Where's my mate? Here he is. Yeah, that was, I think, last Christmas. I think there's me. Thick hair. Is that the same age? There's my mate there. Bald as a coot. So yeah, it's starting to go grey in parts. Oh, Mac for all the soap pops. Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, I've got very thick hair. This was my daughter on her first birthday. 1 year old, and look at that. Her hair was 3 inches long the day she was born. So yeah, we all have thick, long hair in our family. But yeah, 1 year old. Most 1 year old kids are just a bald on there. They got no hair. But that was her on her first birthday. So we do suffer with thick hair. God, trading's hard going at the moment, isn't it? I'm on the fence to know what's going on here, whether we're going to see. We've had a breakout, we've had another go, and it's come back sharply, so I don't know whether it's maybe just going to trigger some longs, and it's got a habit of doing that sometimes, triggering some longs and then all of a sudden turning. So I'm not sure here. Yeah, see what I mean? It just sparks up, doesn't it? It's so hard. Fade soon, yeah. Get some tunes on. What music I'm into? I'm going through a lot of Coldplay again at the moment, I am. I've been listening to it this morning. I sort of revisit music at the moment. So yeah, Coldplay I'm really into again at the moment. Yeah, just unsure what to do here. Because it's struggling to get below there, isn't it? Gonna see. Oh, you really? Yeah, I really like Coldplay actually. I listen to stuff and then miss them for a few years and then sort of come back. I mentioned to you guys I did martial arts years ago. Look at that for a broken and dislocated foot. Sorry about the foot picture. Ouch. Alright, that's enough of the photos. Yeah, there's not much you can do here, really. It's just up, down, up, down, up, down. It's asking for trouble, isn't it? You really got to know what you're doing with this sort of stuff, and that's a bit beyond me. I know you may have taken that one. Pushed up, and a bit of a break, another push up, and came back. I kind of like that type of thing, really, and I like the way it's sitting on the EMA. Moomoo's back streaming. He's all right, actually. He's a nice bloke, yeah. He had 20 accounts, then he blew them all. Oh, I can't imagine how that must feel like. Not watching it. Yeah, he's making a few different videos, isn't he? But yeah, I believe you're right. I believe he is back. But yeah, he blew 20 accounts. That must be excruciating. I thought 4 was bad, but because I thought he was doing all right. I thought he was quite patient. He had that one day where he had a big runner on them all. Didn't he make something like $26,000 in one day? And yeah, I can't imagine losing. I can deal with blowing with 1. 4 just crippled me. Hello, Sanny. How are you doing, mate? 4 just crippled me. But who was it? Wilson lost 20 as well. I felt sorry for Wilson because he's actually a really nice guy. Wilson is. I've had a few chats with him online, and he's a really nice bloke. And he's been struggling a bit lately. Sometimes you get a little bit lost and you sort of lose your way a bit. But, you know, when I've had a bad day, I always get a really nice message from him. That's what I like about trading. There's no competition between traders because it doesn't matter if I do. It's not like a business where, you might take money off me, blah, blah, blah. There's no competition within trading. It doesn't matter who's taking money out of the markets. It's not going to affect anybody. So I kind of like the way, everyone's quite supportive. And I always get a nice message from him. Yeah, imagine 20. See, if you've paid $140, so for me and you, that's 110 quid in it for me and you. So if you got 20 of them, Christ almighty, it's £2,200. That's a lot of money to chuck away, isn't it? Yeah, it's heartbreaking, that is. Trading. Yeah, same here, Speedy. I do as well. Because we're not in competition with each other. It doesn't matter whether you make a ton of money. You're not taking money out of my pocket. It's not, like you got a carpentry business and you're taking my business. We've got to push down and a bunch of reasons to go up. So there may be a short option there, but in all fairness, because it's so choppy and sideways, I'm just not going to take it because it may trigger and push up. But yeah, it doesn't. I like the way. We can all have a good chat about it and help each other out, give each other sort of help and tips and advice, and where I've struggled may help you, and where you've struggled may help me. That's part of the reason why I like to stream, because you get to know people. I know all you guys are all over the world. Now, most of you guys are in the US. There's what's down in South Africa. Who's the guy? There's what's it who comes on here? Rodian. Is he Australia or New Zealand? He's people all over the world. I love it. I love technology. I love the fact that you can just sit here in my bedroom and just chat with people all around the world. I love it. This guy I chat to in Dubai called Joe, an expat. Yeah, I do love it. And there's a guy just 20 miles up the road as well, funnily enough. He comes on here now and again. Leg and a leg. So it does look like we are trying to get up. I'm just trying to think if there's any type of something that may work up there. It's probably a bit early for that. But you never know. If we can get out the top, then we may... Tough trading day today. Yeah, it is, yeah. Which is why I don't mind having a good chat, knocking up a couple of pictures. I'm going to sing a song in a minute. Just trying to entertain people, see, for the day. I won't put you through that misery. Okay, so we've had a breakout. We've come back in. We've had another breakout. We've come back in again, and we're up again. So we may be starting with the likes of a bit of a trend, maybe. It's a bit early, but you never know. We may get something. It's possible. It's a bit early, but I like to just pop these things on just to have a look where it may go. If we can get up here and then come back. If we can come back here and bounce again and continue up, then we may get some movement, and obviously that makes things a little bit, if we're getting these movements, a bit easy to find trades rather than just all this shit here. You can't do nothing with this. Today was so choppy. I traded a 4,000 tick chart today, and the chart was much cleaner. Yeah, I believe Brant has that on now and again, doesn't he? Let's have a look. Yeah, let's drag it in, actually, just out of curiosity. Yeah, it is cleaner. Sometimes it does help having these slightly bigger. I can't say there's a massive amount of trades. In fact, that was the one I pointed out there. But yeah, it does filter out some of the crap, doesn't it? Some of the mess. It's still a bit choppy, but it's definitely a bit easier to read. Second entry short there. You may have taken that one as we're coming down. Higher low there. We got a leg and then a higher low. Oh, I hate it when I do this. Flip in, flip. There we go. It's worked. So yeah, sometimes these bigger time frames do help. I had the 10,000 above me just to try and get an overall bigger picture of what was going on. But even the 10,000 just looks, well, put it this way, the 4,000 looks massively improved. See, there's the 10,000. It's not really any clearer, is it? We get a leg. See, that's the type of trade, the failure there that wouldn't have been a bad trade to take. But obviously, talking mega points, probably a 6-point bar there, but it's a failure nonetheless. But yeah, probably the 4,000 tick chart isn't a bad call, actually, just to get a bigger picture. But we're finally getting some movement out of this sideways stuff, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we may, if we can come back here and then push higher, that'd be good there. So there may be, okay, that kind of looks okay so far, so good. So that looks like it may be a bit of a spike and channel, but I really want to come back here and then push up from here. And then if we do, I'll be looking for longs then, but that's a possibility. So we've touched there, touched there, touched there. If we can touch again and push up, then I'll be looking for longs there. You actually trade it then, do you? Or you just look at it for sort of guidance? You trade it. Go for 12 ticks. Yeah, let's get the 4,000 on. I've had the 5,000 on before and the 3,000. In fact, I'm pretty sure, didn't we change over to the 3,000 about a year or so ago? I'm sure we were getting a lot of chop and the markets were moving really fast, and Max suggested it. 3,000. I'm sure it was the 3,000 or the 4,000. I remember going on to it for a month or so. It's definitely clearer, that's for certain. Yeah, in fact, I'm tempted to leave it on actually above there instead of the 10,000 because it's just a bit in between, isn't it? Yeah, that's the 10,000. It looks quite clear, that does. It's still a bit choppy, but it's not as messy looking. You can sort of work out. It's a bit smoother, isn't it? And the trouble with this, there's just too much detail on this and it just makes it look a bit messy. But even if you use that, you know, when I started trading currency, I traded on the hour. And I also had the 4-hour, funnily enough, up as like an anchor chart just to give you a more of a bigger picture, as, you know, just to make out, you know, make sure I'm going in the right direction. It's much easier to trade because there are less traps. Yeah, that's the trouble when the market's like this. There's just traps everywhere. And when it is like this, it's funny because it'll go up and you'll have a bullish bar followed by a bearish bar. So if you went long there, it would come back and stop you out. And then you'd have a bearish bar followed by a bullish bar and it would eventually stop you out. So what we're looking for is, after a move, is a good 2 or 3 bars in one direction. But so many times, you know, you might go long and the next bar it comes down, then it's very much up and down. So when you get a bullish bar, sometimes you're better off just selling it. You know what I mean? We go down, we go up, we go down, we go up, we go down. But sometimes, obviously, generally, if you're going to buy, you'd buy it on top of a bull bar, wouldn't you? But when it's that choppy, the first thing it does then is turns down. Okay, so I like the way we're struggling to get above this. That makes sense. So let's keep that as tight as we dare. Okay, so far it looks okay, but I want to test here really a couple of times and then some continuation to sort of think I'm in a channel there. But so far so good, so let's just change that. See, in all fairness, we don't really need that there. You could just put that there. Or even there. Break. Push up. So we need to come back out. Oh, yeah, right there. Okay, so that might indicate it's a bit steeper. Maybe there. No, it's not steep enough there, is it? I don't know. The trouble is, if you get this wrong, if you get an overshoot here, you can trade it back. But if you get the channel wrong, you might not expose that overshoot. I seen Matt the other day take a trade, a lower high on an overshoot in an uptrend. 90% off, correct. 90% off for until the 5th of October, so another week. I was surprised, actually. I didn't think we'd get that. I thought they'd go back to the 50% off for a couple of weeks, which they did last time, so I'm surprised they've gone from an 80 to a 90. Makes you kind of pissed off that you got a couple of 80s a few days ago, doesn't it? Moving up fast, yeah, that's telling me it's an overshoot. The trouble is, if you get this wrong, and it's not really if it's an overshoot, great, because chances are it's going to come at least to this side, but I've got a feeling it's not. We've got a leg up sideways and a leg up, so that's probably going to end up somewhere along those lines, which is not ideal, is it really? Nah, so I'd probably say that's not an overshoot then. It is an overshoot. Yeah, see, I'm trying to sort of if you get this wrong, see, and you misjudge it, if that is an overshoot and we get a decent setup, I have seen Mac. I tend to not take him really because I'm not massively experienced with them. But I saw Mac go for a lower high or a failure to come back down, and it came out in the end and then bounced and then dropped. But that kind of visually looks okay, doesn't it? The angle. But it may just be one leg up, a bit of sideways and another leg up. But usually that then could possibly if this continues up a bit, then it may be something like that. I don't know. Looks may rally till 43.56, which is up here somewhere, isn't it? Around about there. It'd be nice if it does, but we want to get it over here, really. There's nothing we can do up here. Guaranteed, as soon as you drop a trade in there, down it'll come. If it comes back here, I want it to bounce, really, then that will confirm that channel for me then. It kind of visually looks okay, but it is still a little bit early. This is a level as per your system, yeah. That's the thing, really. Some people will go, it's this. Some people will go, oh, it's hitting VWAP, blah, blah, blah. But if it's not part of, if those details aren't part of your strategy, then you may not follow them or they may not help you or something. I don't know. It's hard to know whether this is a whether it is a channel or whether it is more of a spiking channel. I kind of like that angle. No, I don't think it looks any better, does it? Have we had stuff from Mac yet? We'll have had that a while now, won't we? It's probably not helpful. Let's have a look. Excuse me. Yeah, if we've had something from Mac and it's an hour ago, it's probably not going to include a lot of this, so probably not going to help us much. So sometimes if he's late and he puts it on late, it'd be nice to get him and put it on now, actually. Yeah, no, he's still in this. How's he put that? Yeah, he's basically put it the same as I have. In fact, no, he's put that up a bit higher. It's unusual, actually. He's put that up. Oh, no, tell a lie, wrong one. He's put that up there, actually. Which doesn't really help much, does it? Yeah, he's let that spike out. Yeah, he's dropped it there and kept that. It's quite a bit sticking out the bottom for him, because usually he brings it down to where it's got most touches, but it's nothing you can really do with that. He's probably sat in his hands, I'm guessing. Yeah, he's got it bouncing off here, which I suppose it's got the most touches, isn't it, really? And that's what he's got it, but we're clearly out the top here. That doesn't look like it's going to go much higher before it comes down. Depends if I'd like it to go up to here. If it does go up to here and come back, then that would be, it would, look a bit better on the chart for that channel. Lost 2 PA accounts today. Oh, you didn't. Oh, mate. Oh, I ain't anybody do that, because I know what it feels like. What are they? 50,000 are they, Sam? And how many? Why do you think why did you lose them, do you think? Revenge trading or what? Yeah, it is uncomfortable, mate. It's not a nice feeling, is it? It's sort of, you feel like, oh, here we go again, back to square one. Yeah. Yeah, it's not a nice feeling, that, mate. Lost them. Not honouring my stop. Yeah, I don't tend to do that now. If I've lost, what I tend to do is just ramp up the contract sizes. I just hit it. If I buy, I'll let it buy it 3 or 4 times and just try and scrappily get my... When I lost that $700 out of each account, I just could not resist. And I hit that about 4 or 5 times. I think I got up to max contracts. I thought, if I can grab 7 ticks, 5 or 6 ticks it'll give me back. And just try to stupidly get lucky, and it backfired. So, yeah, that's my mission. Yes. I think you've just got to honour your stops. It is hard. I don't seem to have that problem now moving me stops. It's just ramping up my contract size is what's causing me problems. Stop loss to target to a minimum of 1 or 3. 2 point stop loss and take a minimum of 6 points. Yeah. The trouble is, it depends where you're trading, really, doesn't it? But see, what's it talks about, doesn't he? The Gorilla guy talks about it's not how many trades you win or lose, it's how many points you make when your wins. Hold on to your wins. Trouble is, he stopped trading for a while, so he said he was having a break from trading. So I don't know, perhaps, is he struggling? I got no idea. You wouldn't have thought so. Oh, you listen to it, Indy? Yeah, he does, doesn't he? He's really good, actually. He makes it quite clear. So, yeah, if anybody else hasn't seen that, go and have a look. E-Mini Maverick, he's got quite a few of the shorts, but he's got 2 videos, and he explains a lot about the Apex accounts and the safest way to trade them, and he makes a lot of sense, actually. If ever I get anything of value, I'll post it on here. So go and have a look at him if you've got a bit of spare time. E-Mini Maverick, his name is, and you can actually pay to watch him trade live. You can get a week free. I had a day in it where I had a look, and it was just quite complicated. It was a busy screen, and and I'm thinking, this is not what I need. I need to focus on my thing. So, Sunny, you can ask. Look, I can't see that. You can ask me if you are taking long or short. Yeah, so if you're not sure, speak to Sunny. Sunny's an experienced trader, but obviously it does depend on what strategy you're using. But if you are taking a trade, it might put you in the right direction if he thinks you're getting into something risky. Yeah, I'm not sure about this channel. Let me just remove it. There's definitely something up there, isn't there? Well, I think that's as good as any, really, though. I want to see. I mean, we're clearly working up. There's no argument there, but there's probably a couple of legs I'd want it to come back here, really, before I think about trading. Obviously, we want to be traded on this side anyway and not up there. So let's just put that there. And let's go for somewhere around about there. So we've got a leg up. I don't think you want it there. That's probably the biggest pullback, I think, from there to there, from that point to that point. So leg up. That gives us up and around about here. So it certainly looks like there's a way to go. But trouble is, you get a guarantee it comes back to here. Yeah, sometimes you're better off just doing that. If it can get back to here and bounce here a couple of times and push up, then I'm happy that channel's right. But there's definitely something going on there. But as you do nothing, it pushes up and hits here. You get in, guaranteed it triggers a stop, comes back and takes you out. Or triggers you, comes back and hits your stop. Trouble is, if you do that, we've still only got 2 touches. So. what you can do with this. Getting close to that measured move there. It's clearly struggling a bit there. I wouldn't be shocked if it does come down here, maybe to the midline, or possibly even lower. FZ, how you doing, buddy? I got myself a couple of 25 grand evals accounts after watching E-Mini Mavericks. Good on you, mate. Good on you. They're really good, actually, aren't they? They're good videos. Yeah, there's a couple of people who said that, so I'd advise you definitely watch those two videos. They're really good, actually. But yeah, I think 25 is the way to go. I'm going to move down to the 25 from now on. Yep, J Apex 90% off up until the 5th of October. My code's down there. If you use it, it's appreciated. I was surprised, actually, because obviously 80% was due to finish at midnight last night, but I was surprised they did. Watched the E-Mini Maverick video 2 weeks ago and started following his risk strategy, 1 micro. He does, doesn't he? 1 micro per $500. So if you trade in a 50,000 account, you'd be taking 5 micros, which is, it's like half a point, really, isn't it? Risking half a point. And if you look on his videos, he shows you his equity curve that he took 1 account up to, well, I think he said he was trading 1 contract, and he got 1 account up to $30,000. So he's very good, actually. He's very good. As I say, you can pay to watch him stream. I think it's about $100 a month or $25 a week, something like that. But his strategies, I thought, was quite complicated. He's got the NQ on his screen. He's got the ES on his screen. He trades the 30-second chart, and he's got book map, and he's got a bunch of other indicators. So it was quite a bit of an upscale. I mean, obviously, max chart, about as simple as you can get. So I looked at it for a bit, and I was there for about 45 minutes, and I thought, no, I need to just focus. But he's very well. He's nicely spoken. He clearly knows what he's talking about. So, I mean, you know, if whatever you want to do, whether you decide you don't want to go with that type of strategy, it's still worth watching just for the info he gives you about the trading with Apex and account sizing and that sort of stuff, risk management. Been trading 5 micros. Currently, it's a grind, yeah. How long you been doing it for, bud? 5 micros. Okay, so it's $5 a micro, so you're risking $25. So it's half a point, basically, isn't it? Yeah, it's half a point. I have to trade micros, 4 to 6 ticks. Yeah, it's going to take you a while. But I suppose the one thing you've got going for started about 10 trading days ago. So you got $600 in 10 days. That's actually not that bad. So that's $300 a week. So 4 weeks, that's $1,200. That's actually pretty good. That's really good, that is. $300 a week. You got 10 accounts, that's $3,000. You got 20 accounts, that's $6,000 a week by trading. What strategy do you use? Max, dear bud? Or what do you go for on your points? Yeah, how many sort of points and ticks do you go for? But that's quite impressive, actually, in all fairness. Pat's, that's impressive. How many trades do you do a day, do you reckon? Always go for 1-to-1. Yeah, I agree. I think 2 points is the way to go for me, personally. But $600 in 10 days, in 2 weeks, that's impressive. In 10 weeks, 10 days. Okay, so that's 2 weeks. So that's $1,200 a month. 3 to 4 trades usually. That's impressive, that is, mate. Fair dues. That's impressive, that. Trading 5 micros as well, which is $25 really. That's really impressive, actually. I bet you don't feel nowhere near the amount of pressure that you do trading 1 or 2 contracts, do you? And not just that, sometimes if I see a trade, I talk myself out of good trades, sometimes I do. And I think a lot of it's to down with risk. I absolutely think that's the way to go, less risk. And I mentioned coming down from 2 to 1 contract, and you're talking about coming down half in it again. And I actually think you're right. Everybody, you know, all the experts and professionals tell you everyone trades too much risk. So I think you're absolutely right, mate. Absolutely. You're risking $25. Oh, let's say, for instance, so what's that, a point? So what you're risking, 2 points, what you're going to lose. Okay, so you're risking 5. So 1 point is going to get you. So you're making $50, aren't you, on a trade? Yeah, you're making $50. If you're doing 1-to-1, so really you're going to lose what, $75, $80 maximum on a trade. That, no wonder there's no stress. I think that's the way to go, slow and steady. Once you get your account up, if you're starting on a $25,000 account, say, all right, let's say 1 micro per. So $2,500, you're trading basically half a point. $5,000 a point. When you get to $10,000, you can up it to 2 points. 2 contracts, sorry. So I think it's the way to go, mate. I'm going to try going down from 2 contracts to 1. And in all fairness, if I'm losing, say, I don't know, a big loss will be maybe $175 in a day, a big loss. That's about a 3.5 point bar. I'd need to lose about 14 or 15 trades in a row to blow that account. Theoretically, I shouldn't be able to blow it. Yes, you can, can't you? That's a good point, actually, Chris. You could scalp 4 micros and trade 1. Yeah, the only downside to micros is that I wish they'd make the fees a bit less. Because you're losing about 10% in fees, aren't you, is it? That's actually not a bad idea, actually. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Or even if I go from maybe 1 contract to maybe 8 micros, or even 10 micros. 10 micros is the same as 1 contract, isn't it? But the beauty with 10 micros, you can scalp 8 micros and have a runner for 2. And sometimes those runners turn into nice little bonuses and consume. I'm going to have a think about that over the weekend, actually. Yeah. I'm losing 200% when I take a crap trade. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about micros, because you divide that half a point into 5. You can't really do it with a point, with a 1 contract or 2, can you? If you do it with 2 contracts, you're risking half your profit. It's just not worth it. 10% fee, so a 10% fee is cheap. Yeah, but it's still sort of 10%, isn't it? But you make that more than that back, won't you? The idea is if you have 2 to 3 losers, half your lot size until you make it back. If you lose a further 2, half again. That way you can not blow an account. The difference over losing 10 losses is massive. Yeah. Well, I had 2 losses and I lost a third of my pot. It's just too much. So I prefer micros because my runners not at all. Nothing can split it up. Yeah, there's no fear of letting your trades run, is there? That's not a bad idea, actually. That's not a bad idea. And yeah, I like the way you can, because it's split up. A half a point, theoretically, is split up into 5 equal sections. You can just have one on a runner, so every point you're making $5. So if you get a 10-point run, it's 50. It soon amounts up. Do you know what I may do, actually? I've got these 2 accounts going live. And I'm going to say I'll trade one with a micro, but I can't, can they? Because the chart's going to be slightly different. Yeah, you can. It's a good idea, that. Trouble is, how can you do that? Because the charts are quite often different, aren't they? I don't know how that would work. I'll tell you what, let me just flick the chart above onto MES. Let's have a look. The charts are quite different, aren't they? Or are they? They must be. Okay, let's just get this in. Let's see how different they are. Yeah, I don't say you can do that. That's come back to the EMA. That hasn't. In fact, there may be a second entry long there. Excuse me a minute.
Order submitted.
Trouble is, we made that measured move, haven't we? I'm going to leave that. It's a bit congested there, and I don't
Order
like the way
cancelled.
we've made that measured move. We could now come over to this side. Did you know on your replicator you can get some accounts to trade half sizes? How you doing? Do you know what? I often wondered that, whether there'll be some sort of software to divide 2 contracts into 4. So effectively you're trading half contracts. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do that. But if you can do that, that way you can, or even if with one, let's say one contract, split it into 4, like a quarter of a contract. That way you can trade a quarter of it into runners, which never made sense. The peer accounts are still... yeah, but that shouldn't really make a difference, should it? Because if it divides it up for you, it doesn't matter whether it's... Oh, I see what you mean. Trouble is, though, if you're going long, I don't see how that would work. You certainly can get DJ. Yeah, that'd be interesting, that, because that way I can trade. See, the trouble is, if you're trading 1 contract or 2 contracts, I think Max says never trade more than 25% of your total on a runner, which would indicate you need 4 contracts minimum, really, to trade that. Because the trouble is, if you took that trade there as a high or low, look what your potential is. If you put that, I'm going to say above every swing, but no, you'd have got stopped out there. So let's say, for instance, you take that there and you take it up to each swing. You've made 4 points there straight away. If you left it back here and continue, I mean, we're in an uptrend, aren't we? So you could just leave it there and then take it to there and take it to there. You could double and triple your. So if you're taking a trade, you can replicate it on other accounts in the same trade, diversifying. The trouble is, though, if it's actually different, if the chart's different, I don't know how that would work. See, if you look here, if I'm going long here, that's not ready to go long. You'd expect it to come down. Do you see what I mean? So I'm not sure about that. Because it is a different chart. It's similar, but it's different. I'm to have a think about that. Or is it the same? Is it different but the same? I don't know. The trouble is, I think it's better if you can split one contract up into 4 rather than doing it via micros, because obviously micros you incur more fees. 1,000 ticks for MES. Yeah. Does that make it much different though? Let's have a look. Yeah, that's actually a bit better. Yeah, it's hard to say really, isn't it? Replication can only work on market, only on micros and minutes can be replicated. Best in the NQ and MNQ. Yeah. I think it may just be a case of the trouble is something to think about anyway, but yeah, you could. I mean, even if you didn't want to trade a point, you could maybe do 10 micros, which is a point, but you could trade 8 of them on a scalp and 2 of them on a runner, so you've got the option then to split it out per contract. So if you got 10 contracts, that's $10. 10 contract is 1 point. Sorry, yeah, 10 contract of micros is 1 point. So you're paying $10 as opposed to $4. So yeah, for every point you're paying about an extra $6, aren't you? But if it's worth it and you make more money in your runners, so yeah, or use your replicanto crossover trades. Yeah, the trouble is, mate, don't the charts work similar but slightly different? Mind you, having said that, the 1,000 almost looks identical to the there, look. In fact, the 1,000's better. Trouble is, we got back here, we didn't there, see, so if I went long here, it could come back, or doesn't it really matter? I'm going to have to do some calculations later and work out some things. We got a leg and a leg. Maybe a trader, yeah, possibly. Trouble is, we've made that measured move now, so let's have a look. What did I miss, Lance? You can trade a short near a given target, maybe 2 points and 1 point before generally touching this. Yeah, I'm a bit late for that now, mate, I think. Can someone share a link to Mark's group all the way to buy the course? Mark, which Mark are you on about, DJ? Mark. Right, we'll use replicanto crossover. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into that. If he's more on micros, if you will, but less risk, yeah, less emotional stress. That's the problem with me. You know, if I was betting on a horse or something and I bet $1,000, the stress is going to feel a lot different than if I'm betting $100, isn't it? It's just common sense, isn't it? You need to trade the ES chart and use the copy to cross over to MES. I may have a fiddle with that. Play around with it one evening on Sim and just play around with it till I can get comfortable with it working. But I like the idea of being able to... See, I want to trade a runner because the thing about runners, they give you your bonuses and sometimes you may get a really good bonus, and I like that. And I'm guessing that's where Mac makes most of his money. But when you're trading 1 or 2 contracts, you just can't do it. So it's good to have a way. So let brass, second entry long, technically triggered, failure, lower high. Yeah, so it looks like a leg and a leg. Trouble is, I'm not sure whether it's going to come up and work down. We've hit that measured move, so he said we may work a bit sideways back to here if we are going to push up, so I'm a bit unsure to get in here. So I'll stay with ES. Just go for 4 ticks with 1 contract. And if you're 60% win rate, you're not going to be profitable trading 4 ticks with 60%, because most of your risk at the moment is, if I'm going for 4 ticks, most of my risk is going to be double that, So I need to earn a lot more than 60% trade wins for that. Okay, so if I win one trade, if I'm trading one contract and I win a trade, I've made $50. And if I win 6, yeah, out of 10, no, that won't work. That won't work. Days enough that I'll decide that point just to take a trade. MES chart itself with a reasonable tick size. No need to overly just review. Practice the chart at the end of the day if you want to see. Yeah. You need more than 70% win rate for it. Yeah, you do. Absolutely. 75%, yeah. And that's just a break even, isn't it, probably? Yeah, I in all fairness, I don't see how you can make money trading 4 ticks. Not even Daniel and Marco do it anymore. They go for 6 ticks. Now, if you've got the luxury of trading 10 contracts like Mac does, or 15 contracts as a scalp and 5 contracts as a runner, then that may work. But just trading 4 ticks and nothing else, I can't see how you're going to make money unless you are one hell of a good trader. Shit breaks out 11, so you need more than 70%. Yeah, you do, don't you? In all fairness, I think 6 ticks is where you need to be looking from, minimum 6 ticks. I've got a sheet of paper here that I went over max trades. Where is it? Yeah, I looked at max trades. Let me just find it. I can't find it now. I went over max trades and I saw 106 trades. 102 of them made over 2 points. Very few doesn't. So for me, 2 points is where I want to be. And if you get good solid trades, the good trades encourage lots of traders to trade, and that pushes the market up or down, obviously depending on where you're taking it. So the good setups, you'll always get 2 points, in my opinion. Micro has a high commission, but you don't make money with 4 ticks. Has to be, yeah, you've got to take 6 ticks minimum. I mean, if I was trading micros, I'd want 2 points, and then obviously 1-to-1 is best. Yeah, I agree. At the moment, if you look at the ATR, it's just over 1. It's 1.5. So you're talking just over 2 points. So 2 points, or 2 points and a tick, 9 ticks is about 1-to-1. But yeah, I agree. And if you're not making that on a trade, in my opinion, it's not a really good trade. If you get a really good solid trade, really nice looking trade, they always go for, minimum of 2, but more likely 4 to 6 and beyond good trades. IDJ gets 300 on micros for a day, done MNQ and MNQ combined. 1 micro, 75 points. So I'm guessing he's trading a slightly different. He's not doing max then, is he? I don't think. Or is he getting that average runners? Yeah. 1-to-1 I think's okay, actually. I tend to go, I think usually I have mine around about, 2 points and a tick. The way I see it, that tick pays for me fees and I make a straight 2 points. Right, so he's not trading max. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, so that's what, 2.25 points. So at the moment, the average bar with a tick above, tick below would be making me 2.25 points. So it would be 1-to-1. But yeah, I agree. I think 1-to-1 is a good round figure to go for. But obviously sometimes you get, but if you go for 1-to-1, then really you've only got to get 55% of your trades right to start to be in the green. Obviously you've got your fees, but I would say 55%, that covers your fees and you're starting to make money. Yeah, I like the idea of micros because I can have a runner. Perhaps I could have a day or 2 on micros and just try it. The thing is, if you get 1 half decent runner, surely that'll more than pay for the extra fees. Yeah, agreed. Fees are part of doing business. In fact, I don't know, I'm thinking something different, but yeah, they are, yeah. But I suppose if you're doing 10 contracts, 10 micro contracts, you're really trading 1 point, aren't you? So it doesn't make sense to do the micros. Rather, you might as well just trade 1 point, unless you're dividing it up and doing maybe 20% of them on a runner, which I think most people will. So I don't think that's a bad call, actually. And if you take at the end of the day, the reason that risk management is in there is not just, is based on the emotional attachment it has. If you have no emotions at all, you can risk more money, but the more you risk, the more stress is available. If you cut down your risk, you'll cut down your stress. You cut down your stress, you'll revenge trade less. Yeah, that makes sense. Take profit on 75% less. Yeah, I agree. I don't think that's a bad idea, actually. So really, you're trading a point then, aren't you? But you're letting a quarter of that point go for a runner. So quarter the point on a runner. So you're making what, $12 there, aren't you? Something? No, I don't know. I can't think. Okay, where's this coming back to now? Is this going to confirm this channel for us? But yeah, I'm going to have a play around with that, actually. Trouble is, if I have the 1,000 tick chart on, if I have the what's it chart, it's going to look different from a lot of yours, isn't it? Into the pond and see what comes. Yeah, I think that's the key. I think that's the key. You risk too much, the stress levels goes up. It goes without saying, doesn't it? And in all fairness, with a $2,500 drawdown on a 50,000 account, my loss at the moment will be around about $250. I'm risking 10%. You know, the other day when I blew those accounts, the bars were quite large. Just happened to stumble on 2 accidental bars, and I lost a third of my. If I told the trader I lost a third of my pot size in one day by just losing 2 trades, they'd call me an absolute moron. I'm tuned in because it's entertaining hearing you talk. Thanks. I'm waiting for the punchline is the one. But I think you need to concentrate and learn the set. I do, to be fair, mate, but because at the moment it's doing a lot of choppy side, which is why I'm talking. And not only that, I'm just trying to take myself up to the next level. So talking and planning is part of it. But you can switch me down on your volume switch if you want. Made a mistake when I began Pats. I do plenty of study time and plenty of trading time. I like that nice big solid bar off there. But yeah, I'm planning to. I'm trading on an evaluation at the moment. I'm only 2 trades away from passing it. Is it 2, 3 trades away from passing? So I'm just planning my strategy for when I go back live. So that's the good thing about trading with other traders, is you get ideas and feedback from them. So this talk time is part of the planning and so on. So that bounced nice and strongly right off that line that I had drawn. So that wasn't just random. That bounced off there for a reason. So I don't know. Some people may take that trade, but I'm waiting for a higher low. Yeah, I've been doing Pats now for nearly 2.5 years. And I've been doing it full time for quite a while, so I can trade Pats. Part of my problem is patience sometimes and losses affecting me. So, which is why I'm trying to manage my, or risk manage, which is part of this conversation really. Do I go on to micros and have a runner, or do I maybe just reduce it and stick to one contract? Which, either way, I need to reduce it to a degree. Okay, so some may have taken that we've got a leg and a leg, but I always don't. I generally don't take that first one because it is congested and the EMA's flat. But if we can get a push up and a higher low, and that for me is confirmed that. I put that line there. I didn't move it to that bar. I put it there. That bar came to me and pushed up, which tells me that channel. Most people have got that channel drawn, otherwise that wouldn't do. That wouldn't bounce off there like that. I'm in, God bless me. So a higher low here would be nice. I'm not going to take a trade here at the moment because it is still a bit congested there. Although I think that's a nice bar, and that's telling us it's come back to this side and it's likely going to push higher. I need a higher low above this, really. Yeah, my slight concern is with that. But yeah, it's probably going to work. So that's where I'll be going for 2 points, and you'll be out before these highs. So if it does come back, maybe get it on a limit order. But I mean, that bouncing like that, exactly where I've drawn that line, not that, it's sort of intersection between that. But if it did trigger me and come back and stop me out, people will be saying to me, yeah, but you went long in a bit of congestion. But there we go. I wouldn't be surprised if that comes down a bit first and retest that before it pushes higher. I hope it does, because I may get back into it. Okay, you're bouncing off that 2 points, depending on where you got in. Struggling to get, so it may have a little pop. There is a something contracts at 4,350. So you think it's going to go up past there, through there, do you? Yeah, I don't quite understand what that means. Does that mean it's likely to be sold there? Or what? Okay, definitely made 2 points anyway. Book map, yeah. I never quite understand whether it's likely, because sometimes you see this and it'll bounce off it and then come down. Other times it blasts straight through it. I'd like to come back and retest this top a bit. But yeah, if anybody took that, good on you. I was just waiting for a slightly higher low, maybe to retest this again, but in all fairness, on the 1,000 tick chart of the MES, that trade actually looked a lot better. Leg and a leg, sideways, nice big bullish bar engulfed. Well, the last 4 bars. So we pushed up, 2 legs back. Nice big solid bar. That was probably even more inviting, really, that was. Yeah. It's not a setup, really. I mean, you could say there's 2 legs back, this further one, but it is. The trouble is, if it did trigger and came down and stopped you out, people would say, well, why the hell did you go long? You can see it's congested. But Mac, a lot of times, does say, sometimes he'll put a green bar there because he'll go, your nice big bullish bar, and it took off. Every time it comes back to the key entry point, you get a nice solid bar. Like, if you'd have took either of those, it would have pushed up. If you'd have took that, it would have pushed up. So Mac will say that sometimes, and that's sometimes why I disagree with him showing so many trades. Because if we do get into a nice trend, You know, he'll just say every time it goes by, and he'll mark that as green a lot of the times, when in all fairness, it isn't a setup as far as Pat's, but, you know, if it's a nice solid bar right off the key entry point, most times it'll work. So it's still maybe worth taking it. So it's just one of those things, really, isn't it? A breakout for the year. If it is a breakout for the range, it's quite a bloody big one. Are you on about here? Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, it could break out and come back. I don't think it will, because it is pretty bullish at the moment, isn't it? From what time was that? From around about, for the last nearly 2 hours, it's been working up nicely. But I drew that there, and it came back to me where I expected it to come back if it was going to be confirmed as a channel. But it is clearly congested, but I don't know. It's a call whether you take this or not. I'd say most times that will work. I've been watching Marco. Look, it could be a breakout at the top of the range. And 2 down. Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? That's the trouble with trading. It's not black and white, is it? There's so much in the way of grey area up for interpretation, and that's why, you know, sometimes I'll see Daniel or Marco take trades that I wouldn't. On the odd occasion, I've seen Mac take a trade that I wouldn't. So it just goes to show sometimes we can interpret these things quite different. Now, those trades, remember those trades a couple of days ago? Was it yesterday? Quite a few people took those. Was it the day before yesterday? The one I left, where was it? It was in this big downtrend. Where was the one? Where was it? That was it there. We had this big downtrend, and I said, no, I don't counter trend trade by that. That was the one there. Quite a few people took that one as a high low, and it worked because it was very predictable. But if you notice, Mac didn't mark it. He said you can't go long there because it could tick up into that and then drop down. There was another one as well, which I like. That one there coming down, a little bit of congested, 2 pushes up. I didn't take that one. A lot of you did. I thought it was a nice trade. Mac didn't mark it because it's congested. So that's the thing. I thought that one for sure he'd have marked. That one I was on the fence. But no, he didn't mark it. He said you can't take it because it could trigger you into this and then come down. But I've got to say, that day before yesterday, was very predictable. So perhaps on days like that, markets are easier to read and you can take the chances. I don't know. That's what I mean. There's so much grey area. So, okay, we've matched this high now. So, have a look. We may go a bit sideways now. It's hard to know whether we're going up or... So there is a possibility we could get a little bit of sideways stuff here. Touch. It is possible. I'm just putting that there for the fun of it. Whether it'll work or not, but I hate that. Get right. Yeah, I'd have preferred a higher low there. This bar there, if that had have come below there and give me a bullish bar, I'd have taken that. But that I tend to leave that first one. Sometimes when we get that first break, even if it's a second entry long, I tend to leave it now. Because I don't know how many times I've been stopped out and it's come down. So I tend to wait for the higher low now. It's just experience has told me, you know, when we lose these trades, you normally learn from them and slowly implement a change. I might knock it on the head, actually. I did have that trade earlier. I took it on the 1,000 tick chart. It was... I can't remember now. Might have been here. There was a higher low here or something. on the 1,000 tick one. I took that, so I've had a 1.5 today, so it's not been in vain. But I kind of liked today. I felt quite patient. I haven't, I could have taken that. I could have took that. Trouble is, really, until we start pushing up, you just don't know what we're going to be doing, because there is a possibility it could still come back into this range. It was certainly trying to, and then obviously once we got up, that was it. Then it took off. But I have been pretty patient today, which is it's a good score for me. Every day I'm like this, and I think and calmly decide is a good day. So yeah, I'm going to knock it on the head today, folks. I appreciate all your comments. It's been a productive day today, in the sense that I've got some useful feedback about how I tackle my PAs. I certainly won't be doing 2 contracts now for a while, until I can get accounts comfortably above the $5,000 and some. Whether I stick to the 2 points with 1 contract, I don't know, or whether I go on to the micros and do something with a runner. I kind of like the idea of having a runner, because sometimes they can give you a nice little bonus. Okay, it does look like it's continuing up, so I'd expect it to get up to, where have we got? Yeah, we've got some sort of maybe some sort of resistance around there, so we're not far away from there. I think it was Sally mentioned this area. I can't remember why now, but it does look like it's working up to that. But I like the fact that it did look like it was working in a channel, but I wanted it to confirm there. And the way that hit right on the nose and pushed up strongly, that was a good sign for me. So, yeah, you may take that. Some did. For me, it was a bit congested, but I get why people would take it. And I think the chance of it pushing up from there was pretty high anyway. So there you go. So that's it for today, folks. I'll be back again. What day is it today? Thursday. Friday tomorrow, so another week. I don't think I'm working Friday. I'm working Saturday, Sunday this weekend. In fact, I've told them I'll work Saturdays and Sundays, and I'll still trade Fridays. I can get some good money working Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays, and certainly give me a full-time wage anyway. So if you look at the daily early, it showed strength to the upside. I did expect that, yeah, because we've had a lot of downside, haven't we? So it wouldn't surprise me if that just continued on up. Where's it come up from now? 300. So we're up 55 points-ish thereabouts. So yeah, so it may get some good up stuff. So there you go. That's me done, folks. So I'll be here same time tomorrow. Don't forget that 90% off if you don't know. My code's down there. If you do use it or you have used it, I do appreciate it. But we've got that on for a week, so I think we're quite spoilt there. I didn't think that would happen. So if you're carrying on trading, good luck. I hope you get a setup. Failing that, stay safe. Have a great evening. And we'll chat again same time tomorrow. Bye for now.